All right, I am super excited for two reasons today. We are at a race and I've got an exciting pro bike behind me. Yes, Kim Morrison has kindly lent us her Scott Plasma 6 TT bike to take a closer look at before she goes and racks it here at Holkham for the Outlaw 70.3. We're pretty lucky to get our hands on this bike because we are just minutes away from bike racking. Kim has got it ready to race, so we can see exactly what her setup will look like. She's even got her race number on ahead of the Outlaw half. Now, this is the Scott Plasma 6 Disc Carbon, which is a pretty new bike. It was only released in October. It was supposed to come out for Kona, but obviously Kona was cancelled. They still released the bike. And you probably remember us talking about it on the show because it's quite an exciting development moving up from the Scott Plasma 5. Now, it's obviously a striking looking bike with its colour. It's got this lovely kind of metallic-y green that fades into black. Kim is riding the size medium frame, and there's actually a reason for that, which we'll come on to later on. But let's go into more detail and start by looking at the front. All right, one of the most notable features at the front are these extra wide forks with the fairing. Now, this is the first TT release being a disc brake bike, so these are all designed to help the aerodynamics and the airflow around the disc brake here. Now, one of the things that Scott have really shouted about with this bike is its adjustability, and that is very true for the front end. So there's a lot of ability to move the cockpit up and down. There's also a 0 to 15 degree ability to move the angle of the aero bars, and it comes with a hydration system, but you'll notice that Kim has her own setup on the front. So the base bars are as per this bike. They are quite long here, which I noted when I spoke to Kim, and she said it feels quite a bit longer than the 5. She rode that originally, but she's put some skateboarding tape on top just to help with the grip, to help her secure her position when she is on the base bars. But obviously she's not planning on spending very much time there. She's hopefully going to be on the aero bars for most of it, and this is where she's put her own setup. So she's got a drag to zero setup with the carbon poles and the carbon cups just to help her get into that really great position that she is known for. So as a result of that, she doesn't have the hydration system that the bike would normally come with, which sits in between the aero bars here. She's also got her bike mount on top of that, attached with this Velcro setup. It's done by 76, who make bespoke sort of features that you can add to your bike if it doesn't come with what you need. And Kim's really liking using this. She's got the Wahoo Element Bolt computer attached to that. You'll notice there's a little sort of feature here that looks like it's taped on. Well, it's actually just taped over at the moment because it's a magnetic piece that the hydration straw sits on, and it sort of just makes it go back there nicely when she's used it. But she doesn't have the straw on the bike right now. She'll be attaching that in the morning just so that it stays nice and clean. And then on the end of her poles, she's got the SRAM Red Axis blips. Now, as I've mentioned, this bike comes with the SRAM Red Axis group set, and that's known for obviously being a 1x. So it's a 1x12 cassette, means there's no front mech, which reduces any weight and aerodynamic drag. Now, this is quite a big chainring that Kim is running, a 52 teeth chainring with an 1133 cassette. And she says that's not because she needs that size, but actually through experimenting, she's found that that is the most efficient size running with this cassette. Those of you who know your SRAM setups are going to be asking you a few questions though when I said it's a SRAM Red Axis, because there's a couple of pieces that aren't. I mean, most notably, the SRAM Force derailleur. There's nothing special about that other than that Kim has got her SRAM Red actually having a bit of TLC at the moment, so she's popped this one on for the weekend. The chain, however, is more unique. You will probably know that the SRAM Red chain is that flat top chain that's quite obvious to spot. This isn't, and I was wondering if maybe that's having some treatment, but no, apparently this is the SRAM Eagle mountain biking chain, which Kim has, through a bit of experimentation and chatting to people, found to be more efficient on this bike than the SRAM Red, which, yeah, is quite unique. But talking of efficiency, you'll see she's got the ceramic speed oversized jockey wheels, which just help to reduce friction as they kind of mean the chain isn't going around such steep angles. She's also got the ceramic speed bottom bracket bearings in there too. Let's take a quick look at the wheels. On the front, it's the MV-SES 7.8 and the MV-SES, obviously, disc wheel on the back. And on those, currently, she's got these rather nice tan walls, which I'm sure Mark would appreciate. It's the Jobii Pro 1 TT tyres in 25mm. Now, Kim is very much known for her time trialing as well as her triathlon, and she runs these tyres if she's doing a TT on a nice road. But she's actually just said that ahead of tomorrow, she is going to change into the Continental GP 5000s just to have a slightly more robust tyre because, well, the British roads are supposed to be wet and a bit miserable, aren't so great, and she's hoping that's going to be more puncture resistant. Something else that might strike you when you look at this bike and you look at the wheels and the frame is how close this rear wheel is. So it's designed purely for aerodynamics. There's a tiny margin for error. But obviously, if you're running different size tyres, which you can do on these wheels, you're going to have problems making it fit. So Scott have thought about this, and you can actually adapt the position that you have your wheel. You can move it forwards and backwards, and you can just see this little function here that allows you to put the wheel exactly where you want so that it will fit with that very small margin. And then at the front end, it's kind of the opposite. There's a massive gap, or a significant gap, between the front wheel and tyre and the down tube. Now, this is on purpose. So you'd imagine the closer the better for aerodynamics, like at the back. That is only true if you're going in a straight line. So Scott have obviously done a lot of testing in the wind tunnel, and they found in a straight line, yes, you want that tyre really nice and close. But as soon as there's any movement, which obviously there is if you're turning in any amount at all, then that causes a lot of turbulence, and they found that keeping it further away actually reduces the drag. Now, the Plasma 6 is different in many ways from the 5. Obviously, it's got disc brakes, but one of the really significant things is it's no longer UCI legal. You can't make it UCI legal, and part of that is because of all of the storage options, which are great for triathlon. I mean, this is a triathlon bike. So starting at the front, you've got an inbuilt hydration system here. So usually the straw will come out of here and attach, like I've already mentioned. Now, interestingly, Kim is riding a medium-sized frame, and she says part of that reason is because you get a larger hydration storage. I think you get an extra 45 mil. So the extra small and small is a 575 mil, and you get 620 mil in the medium and the large bikes. So yeah, just an interesting feature that she's obviously made it fit to her, but she wanted a little bit more space there. Then in here, you've actually got a little sort of pop-up hydration system, but they advise you use it for gels. Kim actually does put her gels into there. She says it holds about 300 mil. She adds a bit of water just so it's easier to actually get out. Then you can see here she's mounted her own Elite Chrono CX 500 mil bottle, which she uses for hydration, but it is on a sliding mount because they discovered that if you put it in the usual place, you wouldn't be able to take this out, but you can see it's a pretty tight fit. So again, probably a good idea that she's got the medium size frame. But the unique factors don't stop there. We've got a storage box behind here, which helps as sort of a fairing for aerodynamics, but that's great for keeping your spares. And then behind the saddle, there's currently just one Gorilla bottle cage. If Kim's doing an Ironman event, she will have two, and that's where she stores, does her refills for her hydration. But for this event, she is going to be using all of the options available on here because due to COVID, the athletes can't actually be passed any drinks, so they'd have to stop and get off. And obviously, she doesn't want to be stopping in a 70.3. And then finally, we've got the saddle. Kim's put her own ISM PS 1.0 TT saddle on this bike. And you'll notice there's a sort of extra little pole here. So this bike is all about adjustability, like I've mentioned. So you can move the saddle forwards and backwards quite an amount. And with that, the bottle cage isn't attached to the saddle, so you need to be able to adapt it to make sure that the bottles still fit behind the saddle. So loads of unique things about this bike. It's really interesting to take a look at, well, this new version of the Scott Plasma 6, but also from Kim, because she is not only a multiple 70.3 Ironman winner, she's also known for having an incredibly strong bike leg and a great bike position. She dominates the time trials in the UK. So yeah, it's really exciting to see this up close. So big thank you to Kim. If you guys have enjoyed it, do give us a like, and remember, you can follow us on our social media and you can subscribe to us on YouTube.